Today, students, we're going to work on quick drawing shadow people with watercolors. But first, let's talk about our watercolor sets. Hey everyone, I want to talk about this paint palette real quick. I opened this today, and this is what I saw. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a dirty area here. Your job is to be responsible. If you plan on using this, to clean it. Someone left a brush here with water in it. I don't know if they plan on using this again, but that's dirty water. You want clean water in here. This whole brush has to be taken apart and washed out now. So this is not ideal for someone coming in. You see all these colors, nothing sort of mixed, that's fine. The nice thing is it does have a paintbrush, it does have a pencil here, and it does have a water brush. We want to keep all these together so the next students can learn as well. And we've got to keep them in nice shape because we don't want to have to rebuy these things because then I can use money for other things. So if you, that's right, you could do your job, when you are done with these things, make sure you empty out the water brush so that it doesn't have any dirty water in it. Dry off the tip so it doesn't get all moldy, and then reshape it so it has a nice little point to it. And then if you can make sure that the pencil's in there, if you want to use this pencil, you can. You just sharpen it and use it, and then you have a pencil with you. And the brush is in there. That'll be very helpful for the next students, because I know that when you're going through that cabinet and trying to find it, you want to have one that has all these things and looks nice. So please put them away nicely, so then any set is nice to use. It doesn't matter which set you pick up, doesn't matter which set you open up, they're all nice and clean because everybody is doing what they're supposed to. That's how a society works. It's the people who think they're better than society, leave things like this, that makes life a little bit difficult. This is why we have to take shoes off at the airplane, at the airports, because one or two people decide to leave things dirty or make choices that then all the rest of us have to deal with. And it's because of someone being thoughtless, or someone rushing and not having enough time, or not using their time wisely. These are all evidence of someone being thoughtless and careless. And I don't want you to be thoughtless and careless people. I want you to be people who go out into the world and do amazing things and think about others and try to make everybody's life better. And one little thing we can do is make the next person's life better by making sure that the palette is ready for them. Because you never know. You might be the next person. You might put away this palette and then get it next day, nobody used it, and you only have yourself to blame. So if you could do yourself a future favor by cleaning things up before you put them away, that will be very helpful. Thank you. All right, students, today you and I, on a new clean piece of paper that is separated so it doesn't wrinkle all your other pages, because everybody likes working on a nice flat surface. We are gonna make some shadow people. So, this is sort of in the quick sketch drawing thing, but we're not gonna use a pencil, we're just gonna use a brush. And I'm gonna use both brushes today. I've cleaned them off. My palette is ready to go. So I'm ready to go now. I am going to take some clean water, right? And I'm gonna activate the colors I need. And I'm only really gonna activate one color right now, and that's black, okay? I am just activating black, and I'm actually gonna take a little bit of black. I'm gonna put it on my palette. I'm gonna put it on the white so you can see it. And what I'm gonna do is clean off my brush here in the black, or out the water, and dry off my brush. I'm gonna take some water and dilute that black. I wanna make it sort of like a light gray. And then what I'm gonna do is just sort of paint a rectangle in this light gray, okay? Just sort of rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're just doing quick sketches, quick drawing, and we're gonna use the brush as a drawing tool today. And then I can maybe make two more rectangles here that go down. Maybe you see what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna add some maybe rectangles going off to the side. They're a little bit. I might put one down here. There we go. I might put a rectangle down here. I might put some feet. Might fill in this area. Maybe put a little rectangle here. And then maybe a head. Now, I got a person. That works just fine. I could take more gray. I could add more rectangle. I could do something else. I could make something bigger. So I could go diagonal, make this person closer to me. So I might just do like, hey, here's a rectangle. I get some more water into my gray because I want this person to sort of stand out more. So I might add some more pigment to it, just a little bit to give it some distance. I might put a little rectangle up here or a little square maybe and come off of it to make some shoulders. Put a head here. There we go. And then we can go down. Maybe their arm is coming forward a little bit. Maybe we got the legs down here and they're walking, so we don't really see them so much. So we can put some things. We should sort of develop where our light is now that we got these two figures. And we have distance because we use hierarchy and diagonals to make that line. So hierarchy, bigger person, closer to us, smaller person, further away. Diagonal, creating distance in a composition. So now we could just take more black in here, and we can add black in here on top of it. And like, let's say the light's over here. So we know the person's face is gonna be shadowed, but the top of their head's gonna be highlighted because the light's there. The core of their body is gonna be shadow. Everything on this side is gonna be shadow because let's say the sun is up here. So if the sun's up there, then this person's gonna be in shadow. Much like our monochromatic blue drawing that we did, where we were working the shadows darker as they got closer to us. So now we have this person, and we have a light source, we have light coming down. We can take more of that black, and we can like maybe put, let's say, since this person's close to us, we might see some details, like maybe they're wearing sunglasses on a sunny day. Maybe they have a nose, maybe they have a mouth. Maybe we're getting some more details about them. A chin. We're thinking about the places that the shadows lie, sort of underneath the mouth, underneath the chin, underneath the eyebrows. Those are where the shadows lie of a person. Even the forehead's gonna have some shadow, especially since the sun is coming from behind us there of our person. And so we can just block in some of these things to give it more depth. We can make this person wear a hoodie just by painting in some bulk around their neck. We can add in, I don't know, pocket for their hoodie down here. Maybe it's gray, and you can see I'm just sort of pulling that darkness out so it blends all together, and we can get these details of these people in our work. So we could just play around with this. Now, this is all about shadow work. And so with shadow, you could create detail. Like, okay, this one's drying out. I can put some highlights to give the illusion of like some detail in the work. I can use the shadow work to really just put in solidness of gravity around these people, like so, just by highlighting some, giving it some variation within the work. So giving it some different values so that each place, sorry about all my ums and uhs, each place has some interesting tones in there that you can see and look at and be like, oh, okay, I see something cool in there. The other thing we need to think about is their shadows, because once the light is coming down, what we can do is just take some shadows here, and the higher up the sun, the shorter the shadow. That's all you have to think about. The lower the sun, the longer the shadow. So that is a great way of breaking down shadows. This person, you probably wouldn't see their shadow on the ground because there's no ground below them. So we can just build up some layers here. And now we got a person, maybe they're holding a shopping bag because they're walking in a city street. Ta-da! Maybe this person is, let's see, maybe they need a backpack on. So we can put a backpack, maybe they're a student going to school like yourself. You're learning how to be good people, go out into the world, make it a better place for everybody. Maybe they have a sweatshirt on too because maybe it's cold and it's winter-like. They got some jeans on, a hoodie, and then put some weight for their backpack behind them. There you go. So, we have all this open space now. You know how to make people with rectangles. If you want a more feminine person with a rectangle, it's the same thing. It's just rectangles. Let's make someone walking. So, if you don't know how to make a person walk, you could just do stick figures, okay? Here's their waist, here's their knee, here's their ankle. And so let's say this person is running, actually, because we're bending the leg. The more you bend the leg, the more movement they're doing, right? And so this person's running. There is their thigh, there's their leg, here is their ankle, here is their foot, just sort of like a little triangle. And then a little heel here. And we sort of got this illusion of someone running. Now, if their foot and leg is in front of them, then their back leg has to be back. And so they're gonna have a thigh, they're gonna have a kneecap, and then their other leg's gonna be back, and the back of the calf is sort of angled, dot, and then they're gonna have a triangle for a foot. So we have this person running. Is the proportion right? I'm not sure, because I've not really thought about where their head's gonna be, right? And the way this is looking is the person's running this way, or like towards the sun in my work. So what I have to do is give them a bottom to sit on. So most people have rounder bottoms. And then what we're gonna do is rectangle the top of their torso, right? And then if this leg is coming forward, because this is the one that's closer to us, I will make that a little bit darker. If it's going forward. And this one is coming backwards. Actually, sorry. This one's closer to us on our side, but this one's closer to us coming back towards us. And this is going to be their back. And let's say they have some shorts on, because everybody should be wearing clothing out in public, usually. And then what we're going to do, keep going. Just wear what you want, as long as you're comfortable, right? And it's not offending people. Yeah, that sounds right. So then go back here, add a shirt. They're running, so this leg is forward, so that means this arm is going to be forward. So we're just going to show the shoulder there going forward. And then this arm, the one right here, is going to come back. And so I'm going to use some black and get a darker value of that black. And I'm going to put in the shoulder, put in the elbow, like so, bend it, and put in my fist. Put the arm out for the other side right here. Put that shoulder blade in, and then we can put in a head of someone running. And now we have an active person, and we can just adjust what we need as we go. So if you see it, you can sort of see a person running. And then, like the other ones, just go back in, add the darkness on the behind area of everything so that you can get this illusion of someone running like this. We can, hey, watch this, ponytail. I don't know if you know this, but professional hockey for, what is it, the female league just started, and they had the first sold out crowd the other night, which is pretty cool. I think we should have professional sports for every group of people. Sports brings us together, and it's fun to do. All right, I'm overworking it now. You can sort of tell it started blending, so it's time to pause. That's great. The next thing we're gonna do is get some clean water, and let's do some more rectangle people. You can see now that this person looks out of place because they are bigger than this person, and this person's so far away. But we're just practicing, right? So we can add some shadows to this person and make them long so it looks like that they're on their way running across a field or something like that. We're just practicing with people. This is all about shadow people today, so we could just work. And what I would like you to do right now is take what you've learned from this and start filling in different type of people. Remember, they're gonna have shoulders, they're gonna have a torso, they're going to have a place that they bend from, their waist, right? They're going to have legs and arms for the most part. Typically, different people are born different ways, and so we want to celebrate all people. I'm just showing you typical, and if we wanted to, let's say, have someone who isn't necessarily able-bodied, we can do that as well. I'll show you that next. Let's just put in a person, and we can have all sorts of people walking in this scene. And so I want you to do is fill in a bunch of people walking in this scene. And we can even put like even closers. Like this person might be wearing a dress. Look at this, easy dresses. Ta-da, dress. And maybe they have their arms and they have long hair. And look at that. Now we have a person wearing a dress. I've been seeing some cool dresses. Adidas has one right now. It's pretty sweet. I was thinking about getting. Yeah. Did you know in the long time ago, in the history of humans, dresses were worn by men and pants were worn by females? People in the old days had a weird way of making clothes being gendered, which is interesting because clothes everybody needs. It's how we express ourselves. This is how we show what groups we're part of, what things we like. And so we need the clothes. And clothes matter. It shows you who you belong to, what teams you like, what school you go to. You know, all these things matter to us because it helps us make ourselves a little bit more individual. And in a world where everybody shares the same genes, we're like 99.91% same DNA, so the things that make us different are important, and not to separate us, but just to celebrate them. Like, hey, that's what you chose to wear today? Cool. That's awesome. There's never go wrong complimenting someone on what they're wearing because it's a choice that they got to make. And so if you say nice hat to someone, nice coat, nice glasses, things like that, you can always know that you're not going to necessarily offend someone because that's a choice that they made. A choice that they made that they took. And so when you are seeing people and they're making choices out there in the world, what they're wearing, things like that, just go in and be like, hey, you wore that today. Congratulations. I like that about you. It's not going to go wrong. Unless you say it sarcastically or you're being mean, then it will. But if you're being genuine and sincere and you just say, hey, I like that, or give someone a compliment for trying something new, like, hey, you wore a cool hat, or maybe it's not a cool hat, but they're wearing a hat. Like, that's a choice they made. And that's a way of them expressing themselves. And we want to be like, yeah, that's cool. It's not bothering anybody. It's not hurting anybody. That sounds great. There we go. And when we are seeing people in public, these choices that they make are the things that we want to pay attention to and draw and make, because that's what makes all these things unique. This is just all black pigment on this paper so far. If I wanted to, let's say, do blue pigment, I could do the same. I could do monochromatic blue. I can make it wintry day. Let me put a figure here. Maybe this person is in a wheelchair. So we'll just draw their chair. And we'll draw them as they navigate the world from this space. We can put some dimensions in here. Like, we want to make sure that when we are drawing people, that we are giving them respect and space while we're doing that, that we're not making them necessarily feel too uncomfortable. There is some uncomfortableness for people looking at people while they draw or paint or being drawn in paint. It's always polite to ask people if you can draw them, if you're getting like their personal face in there. But figures like this is pretty you don't necessarily have to worry about. And same thing with a monochromatic one. If we're doing this, we want to think about where the light is, where the shadow is. So for this person, I'm going to put a nose here. We're going to put shadows on this whole side of their face. because this face is on the dark side. But we're going to put a highlight at the top because the highlight is where the sun is going to be. And then we can put a shoulder in, we can put the other arm in, we can put another arm here, and just put these things in. There's a whole range of humans out there experiencing life, and we want to capture all of them and celebrate their lives. As an artist, this is one of the best powers, that you can make people feel seen. And when they feel seen, they feel cared about. And so if we can do things in our life to make people feel like they're cared about, because I know when you feel like you're cared about, that you go out and do better in the world. So if we are making other people feel cared about in the world and seen, they're gonna feel better in the world and go out and do things. And then they might help someone else that might not be seen. And then, so on and so on and so on. And it gets better and better as we go. Now, we can put in all sorts of things here. And I want to leave you some space, but I kind of want to show you more. Sometimes people with wheelchairs have bags behind them or little decorations to make their chairs personable for them. And we want to make sure that if we are including something like a service device or let's say a service animal, that we get those things exactly correct, because those are details too. Those are things that they have chosen and picked out to help represent them and navigate the world. And so we want to make sure that their choices are seen as well. So it really represents everybody. So what I want you to do is think about this. As you're making these shadow people, we can do pink as well if we want to. You can do monochromatic any color. Just think of people as being rectangles, a rectangle torso. They sort of have a triangular waist, and then you have these legs that go in like that. You have some knee space. You have your calves. You have an ankle that's like a little dot. You have your feet. You have your neck. Do not forget your neck. Then you have your head. And then you have your arms. And then your arms come down to about where your waist is, where you bend. And then there's your arms. And then it's just filling in these sort of shadow areas and giving the illusion of clothing. And you can just, like, this person can wear shorts. I'm just putting in shorts there. Boom, they have a t-shirt on. It's sort of warmer all of a sudden. All of these things. You can play with their hair. You can make their hair longer if you need to. And it can flow down. We can add in darker values of that color. So just letting it dry a little bit and then adding darker colors on top of it. And you can even let it dry even longer. And you can add the shadows to the people that you're working on and build up the layer. So this one, and there's sun, and then boom, boom, boom. There you go. People. This is just a quick sketch. Look at, we've drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. What I want you to do is on a new piece of paper, wrong way, new piece of paper, I want you to come up with, let's go with 7 new people. 7 new people. I want you on a new piece of paper, come up with 7 new people. We did this together. I want you to come up with 7 different people. And this time, put the sun on the opposite side. So I'm going to move this piece of paper and then go to my next piece of paper once that's dry. And on this piece of paper, I want you to come up with 7 different people. And I want your light source to be over here. So think about that with your shadows. How are you going to show distance? Think about diagonal, think about hierarchy, and come up with 7 different people. Make a scene. If you're having a hard time thinking about a scene, watch this. I'll make a quick scene here. These people are walking, talking, these things. This person's a little bit out of the scene because the dimension is off, but we're just talking about people. So I can throw in another color. Watch this. Boom, boom. Now we got some people in the grass, right? Scene. There's a scene. I could take some blue behind here and watch this. There's a city. I'm just moving my brush up and down, making little rectangles, little things like this. Look at that. That could be trees. That could be a city highlight, highline. So when I just start going in and painting in like some rectangles, it becomes interesting. And if I put shadow on one side, the darker side, becomes highlighted on the other, it becomes depth of city. And I could be like, oh, these people are in LA, they're in New York. If I make the city smaller and more trees, oh, look at it, they're in Iowa. They are in Kansas. They are in Alabama. They are in all of these different places that the lowland. And if I wanted to, let's say, hey, wow, this is a mountain town. Well, guess what? We could put some mountains in the back. We can make them really dark so it shows that there's even more distance, that there's space in between here. And like maybe there's a lot of mountains. And so this city that was small now is big. It's a big city. Maybe this is Colorado. Maybe this is Montana, where they're surrounded by mountains. There's a whole bunch of scenes here. So on the next piece of paper, I want you to put in a bunch of people. I want you to make a scene. I want you to make something that looks interesting. So that when we go there, we're going to see 7 people on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people all here that came out of your brain and created a scene. I can't wait to see both of these pages done. Please take pictures of both of them and turn them in once you are done. Thank you.